Celtic made it 2 for 2 as they continued to win in their pre-season campaign as they defeated Cork City by 2-1 in the Cork Cup. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football for your Celtic match recap. They've done it. They've won the Cork Cup. They've beaten Irish side Cork City. It might not be the best opposition, but it could be a step up on Queen's Park, who they beat last week by 1-0. Now they've defeated Cork City by 2-1, and it's a winning way to start the campaign. Again, it's not the highest level of testing that we've seen Celtic up against so far, and it will get tougher, it will get better, as there is some teams that they're going to come up against that will pose a threat in the pre-season campaign. But for now, all you can do is beat who's in front of you, and that's exactly what Celtic have done. And new man Hayato Inamura impressed. In fact, he impressed so much that Brendan Rodgers is considering him having a big part in the upcoming season. It was pretty much expected that Inamura would be loaned out. Rodgers pretty much said so when he came into Celtic, that he would need time probably away from the club. But after his 45 minutes today, Rodgers has seemingly changed his mind, or at least he's more open to the fact that maybe Inamura doesn't need to go out on loan, and maybe he can play a role at the club for the upcoming season. But Celtic did defeat Cork City in front of 30,000 fans at the, I'm going to pronounce this stadium wrong, but fuck it, here goes anyway, the Parc U Chahome. So yeah, this stadium usually hosts GAA sides, but I guess it hosted Celtic versus Cork City today. The Celtic team was pretty much, it was a B squad with a few, first team players in there. You had Sinisalo and Nets. Who else did you have starting? You had Donovan, Engels, Forrest, Inamura, Kerry. McGregor was in there as well. McCowan, Murray, Summers, and Trusty. So you had a mix of B-team players, young players, and then a mix of, first-team starting 11 players. So you got McGregor in there, you've got Engels in there. So with those two alone, you'd expect them to be more than enough to beat Cork City. Would I expect Celtic to win by more than 2-1, by more than a 1-goal difference? Probably, but for whatever reason, that did not happen today. Anyway, they got the win by 2-1. Luke McCowan got Celtic off to a lead in the 27th minute. He scored, he put them in front, and then at half-time, pretty much both sides just went all out with the substitutions. I believe that Cork made 9 in total, and Celtic, I think, changed every single player. They made 11 changes. Or was it 10? It was either 11 or 10, but they made changes. That's what matters, okay? They were like, right, we're gonna mix things up here. We're gonna make a lot of substitutes, and then they also made another 2 later on in the game. But it was Murray for Cork City that equalised in the 67th minute before Donovan scored for Celtic 3 minutes from time. So Cork almost took Celtic to the end. Now, when Celtic did make subs, they severely weakened their team. They brought on Ross Doohan for Sinisalo, so he's a third-choice goalkeeper for the upcoming season. He got a bit of game time here. They also brought in some players I've never heard of. Frame, McPherson, Ure, Turley, Hatton. Never heard of these guys. Their new signing, Callum Osmond, he actually made an appearance. He did come on, and he played 45 minutes. Didn't score against Cork City, which I'm sure he would have been hoping to do, but they brought on some new players and they gave some youth a chance and they got the win. So I guess that's all that really matters at the end of the day. I don't think they'll be too upset with the fact that they didn't win, but yeah, was it the most impressive result? Probably not, to be fair. But Rodgers, he was happy with one thing, and that was the new signing, Inamura. So let's see what Rodgers had to say about him when asked if he could stay and not go out on loan this season. Rodgers said, quote, 100%, I'm not fixed on it. The feeling from us all was, okay, we'll bring him in and see how he does pre-season, thinking that he may need to get out and play. But I always judge players in the pre-season on how they look and are they going to be capable. He's certainly shown in the few days training, he's so smooth with the ball. Not only that, he plays forward. When you play for Celtic or any of the big clubs, you have to pass the ball forward. You've got to have the personality to take the ball and play, and he has that. I've got to say, he has surprised me. We knew that he was going to come in, and I felt that maybe it was going to take a bit more settling in for him, and maybe a loan or whatever, but we'll see how he works. He's obviously not been playing that long. I think that we see that with the Japanese boys. They go through university and they're not actually professionals until they're 23, 24. So he's late into the game, and then it's always about the adaptation and how he comes across. But in these first few training days, he's so confident with the ball. He's a good size. He'll need to develop physically. That's natural when you come into European football. But his comfort on the ball, his willingness to attack is really good. So we'll see how he looks over the remaining games. End of quote. So high praise there for Inamura from Brendan Rodgers. And you know what? Why not give this guy a chance? If he is comfortable on the ball, if he does play the ball forward, that's a big plus for Celtic. They've just let go of Lagerbielke and Nairoki. If they're both gone, I believe that Welsh has picked up an injury. Not sure how long for, but that leaves them at the moment currently with just 3 recognised centre-backs. If you don't count Inamura, that gives them just Vickers, Trusty and Scales. So at this point, why wouldn't you keep Inamura? Why? Yeah, he might not get as much game time as he would get out on loan, but there's no reason why he couldn't be the starting centre back alongside Carter Vickers, because Trusty and Scales, they're not exactly 100% trusted, I don't think, with the fan base or with Rodgers. So who's to say that if Inamura stays, he's only going to be like 4th choice or what, 5th choice? He could be higher up than that. We'll never know. But also, Brendan Rodgers had something to say about new striker Callum Osmond, and he was happy with his 45-minute run out in the team. This is what Rodgers had to say. He said, quote, "It was a really good exercise, just exactly what we wanted. It was a quick turnaround from Friday, and I thought the first half was better than the second half, the speed of our play and some of our details. But a great evening, a great turnout and a good exercise. The boys are only back 10 days or so. Sometimes that wee bit of precision and passing, maybe not playing as forward as much as we would like, but in the first half we were good in the game and created a lot of moments in and around the box and controlled it well. In the second half we had to defend that wee bit more, so that's also good for your fitness as well." End of quote. So yeah, he's happy with the play in the first half, so there's more the first half than the second half. I think that he would have liked to have won by more than a single goal. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's pre-season. It might be the Cork Cup, but it's a friendly at the end of the day, isn't it? So I don't think he'll be too upset. But yeah, Inamura, could he be a big player for Celtic this upcoming season? Potentially. Osmond got 45 minutes. Didn't score, but it is what it is. He'll be looking to do more, I think, in future pre-season games. And McCowan and Donovan with the goals. It's going to be a big upcoming season for McCowan as well. I'm sure he'll be looking to try and stake a claim in that Celtic starting 11. Last year, quite a few of the midfielders came under pressure for performances. Bernardo wasn't really firing on all cylinders. Engels was being criticised for his price tag, so maybe McCowan thinks he can step up and maybe he can become, a key player and a starting 11 player for Celtic. Anyway, guys, that's it. They beat Cork City. Congratulations to them. Now they have to focus on the games coming up, and it will definitely be a step up in class. So to see off the month of July, Celtic have 3 more games coming up. On the 16th, they will play Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. Then they've got Newcastle, which is going to be a big game, and then Ajax. So that is 3 massive games for Celtic. 3 games where they probably will be the underdogs. Ajax have fallen off in recent years, and Celtic Sporting will be pretty close, but you'd expect Newcastle to be favourites over Celtic considering the massive financial gulf that they have. But I think in reality, if these were Champions League games, Celtic would be going into these games probably not expected to win them. So we'll see how they get on in these friendlies. By sure, all means, Celtic could win them. I mean, it's not like they can't win these games. If Celtic turn up and play well, I'm sure they can beat Sporting, I'm sure they can beat Ajax, I'm sure they could even beat Newcastle. But at the end of the day, it's pre-season. We don't really know if these teams are going to play their best, or if they're going to focus on their new signings, or if they're going to focus on just playing the young boys, youth team players. So we don't really know. But Celtic have beaten who's in front of them so far, Queen's Park and Cork. That's all you can do. Will they continue to win when the level of opposition steps up? That's what we'll find out, guys, for the rest of July. But for now, that is going to do it. Inamura looks to be a decent player, and I think that there's definitely potential that he could be the starting centre-back for Celtic alongside Carter Vickers for the upcoming season. Anyway, let us know what you think down below. Catch you in the next one. Till then, though, peace.